been said that no man is an island because we're all interconnected as people, and yet a lot of people today live such insular lives that it can feel as if they're not only on an island, but they've locked themselves in a fortress behind tall walls on an island. And so you think about that and the mission that Christ has given us. How can you reach someone like that? You just stand across the divide and yell over. You try to draw them out, attract them to your side with something flashy and exciting. I mean, it seems like as Christians, we can approach evangelism that way sometimes, in one of those two ways. And God sometimes still works through that. But I think the better way to approach it is that we should approach outreach as if we're building a bridge. Because if you think about it, that's really what Jesus did. He crossed over from heaven to earth by becoming human. He died and rose again to build a way for us to cross over into a relationship with God that will last forever. And so in 1 Timothy 2, 5, and 6, Paul says, "For there is one God and there is one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself as a ransom for all, which is the testimony given at the proper time." He is that bridge. Now, I'm not suggesting that any of us do what Jesus did in the same way. I mean, he's the one and only mediator that we need. But as we tell others about him, doesn't it make sense that we would do it in a way that reflects his humble, sacrificial character? Shouldn't we make the effort to build those bridges, to cross over the deep divisions in our society, to lead people to Christ? Now, as we've made our way through the book of Acts, we've learned great lessons about building the church in Acts chapters 1 through 7, and then about spreading the faith in Acts chapters 8 through 20. And so as we started into chapter 21, we've been seeing how Paul lived what I've called an unhindered life during his imprisonment by drawing upon the power of fellowship, by experiencing freedom in God's truth, by finding confidence in God's providence. But as we finish the book in chapters 27 and 28, Paul's being taken to Rome as a prisoner, and he's held in confinement there by the Roman government, and that's where the book ends. It's kind of a strange ending. It's probably not the way you or I would write the story. So what's the point? Why does Luke end the book that way? Well, I think these chapters give us a unique glimpse of Paul interacting with people outside the context of church ministry. There are soldiers and sailors who neither recognize his apostolic authority as Christians do, nor vilify him as the Jewish leaders do. Initially, they probably just regard him as nothing more than a political prisoner. But during this crazy, tumultuous journey, I think Paul models 5 steps in building spiritual influence. I think that all of us as believers can follow that same process. This is our blueprint for building those bridges, those connections with people. And it starts with something very basic that we might not even think about.